Are you thinking of starting a watch collection? Are you uncertain how to begin? 3.5 years ago, I was a new collector, and I can help you get started. Learn from my mistakes and my actions, which had a positive influence on my collection. On this episode of Adventures with Time. So, you want to start collecting watches. Would you be interested in a nice bridge I have for sale? No, it's not that bad if you are thoughtful about your activities. That is, enjoy watches using your heart, but buy using your brain. Many other watch collectors and YouTube creators have espoused their tips for collecting and starting a collection. My goal for this video is to provide you with my thoughts based on being a new collector myself. Do look at those other videos to glean additional information and even contrary opinions. But here are my 5 steps for starting a watch collection. First, understand what you're getting yourself into. Watch collection is not generally a money-making activity. Unless you specialize in certain brands like Rolex, which appreciate, most watches lose value after you purchase them. As a beginner, I would not have the expectation that you will make money or even break even if you sell some of your watches. Also, there will be a ton of watches that interest you. Virtually every day now, I see information on watches that I would consider purchasing. The more you get into this hobby by reviewing content, getting on mailing lists, you will start to get inundated with marketing for watches, and many will interest you. You will be tempted to buy many of these watches, but take it easy. You can quickly accumulate a large collection. I purchased 12 watches during the first 12 months of collecting, but much less each subsequent year. Don't get me wrong, I consider this to have been a learning experience. Even though I eventually sold half of those initial purchases, I enjoyed having all of those watches, and they helped me to learn about watches, my likes and dislikes. My advice is just be careful you don't go overboard. Not too much overboard. You will have that itch to buy that next watch quickly. The thrill of receiving a new watch will lead you to look for the next watch. Some call this hobby a sickness or even an addiction. Just recognize that this can happen to you and you need to pace yourself. Other people will try to influence your collecting activities. No matter what watches you buy, someone will have a negative comment to make. There will also be those positive comments. Both of these may influence your purchases inappropriately. For example, some collectors believe that affordable watches are a waste of time. Others think there is no reason to get a luxury watch, as there are plenty of very good watches in the affordable range. Remember, collectors have their own likes and dislikes. You need to buy what makes you happy and not something that will please or impress others. Next, play within your means. It is easy to outspend your hobby budget, especially when you see a watch for which you think has limited availability. Many brands now launch limited edition watches. That is, they will only make a fixed number ever. Another enticement is that they offer an introductory price for a limited initial period of time. These can be double-edged swords for the collector. You may get a very good watch that others can't get because they are sold out, or a good watch at a great price, even a price at which you can make money if you decide to sell it later. On the other hand, you can get pulled into buying a watch that you later decide is not to your liking. Give careful consideration to these opportunities. Look at how these types of items have fared in the past to give you additional insight to whether this is really a good opportunity for you. It's hard to resist in these occasions. Also remember that there is a cost to owning a watch collection. Many of your watches will need servicing, and some may even need repair if you damage them. Servicing a watch is a topic in its own realm. Depending on the watch, you may need to service it every 3 years, or maybe it's 10 years. Different watches have different recommended service intervals. They also have different servicing costs. Watches with in-house movements rather than third-party movements such as ETA will be more costly to service and should be serviced by only those appropriately trained. With some watches, it's not economically sound to service them. It would be roughly the same price to buy a new watch instead. Now, if some of your watches have a very high value, you may want to secure insurance in case they are lost or stolen, and there are costs for storage. Even if you keep all your watches at home, you may want a multi-watch storage box, a travel watch roll or case, or maybe a watch winder for your automatic watches. You may want to store your very valuable watches in a safety deposit box at the bank. So think about these costs before you dive in too deeply. Next, have an initial strategy for your collection. Having a strategy will help you sift through the countless number of watches you will encounter. This does not mean that you know the specific watches you want to collect, such as dive watches or chronograph. It just means that you should have some plan on what you will buy first. And your initial plan may be to just try a hodgepodge of watches to see what you like. Note I said initial strategy because you will probably change your strategy once you gain some experience and get a better understanding of your likes and dislikes. I've changed my collecting strategy at least 3 times. Don't be too detailed with your strategy. Just get a general direction to help you start. Here's an important one. Learn before you buy, and perhaps before you form your initial strategy. Just looking at a watch on a brand website may not give you a complete and honest assessment of a watch. So, gather as much independent input as you can, but recognize that not everything that is published is necessarily independent. There are many sources of information that I use, whether looking at a specific watch, brand, movement, or just looking at what watches are out there. Also, to learn about different complications or watch types, such as vintage watches. Spend the time upfront so you go into a purchase as informed as you can be. Of course, you should watch different YouTube videos. There are a ton of channels that talk about and review watches. Watch them and see the different opinions they express. Many will be the same, some will be different, and you need to determine if that is because they've identified something that others haven't seen, or if it's just their personal preferences that are shaping their opinion. Read articles from online and printed publications. There are lots out there. Crown and Caliber, Hodinkee, and many others. And there are a wide range of watch books that cover brands, collections, and even specific watches. Lots to read on those rainy or snowy days at home. You can also subscribe to brand newsletters, but be careful you don't get overwhelmed with email. Some will send you information almost daily, while others will only send you something when they have specials or new watch launches. Try to get out and see watches in person. Visit watch shops, and especially brand authorized dealers and boutiques. Don't be afraid to ask to try on different watches and even take some pictures so you remember what they look like on your wrist. I always ask the salesperson if I can take pictures so that I can remember the watch. I haven't yet had anyone deny this request. One of the best ways to see lots of watches is to attend watch events. I've attended several watch shows in New York City where many brands, mostly micro brands, set up tables to show their watches. Recently, they've been holding these events virtually given the pandemic. You don't get to try on watches, but you still see a lot of different brands. And finally, enjoy the collector community. There are lots of fellow watch collectors or enthusiasts in your midst. I was amazed to discover who of my friends and even co-workers were into watches. If you ask people about the watch they are wearing, you may discover that they are collectors themselves. There are also collector communities in which you can participate. These can be online forums or meetup events in your local area. These are great ways to meet other collectors and learn from their experiences. See other watches and make some friends. Don't be afraid to join in as a novice. People love to tell you their opinion. Just remember to drive your collection based on your likes, not those of others. Remember to have fun. This is a hobby and it shouldn't stress you out. Embrace your ignorance and learn as you go. You'll make mistakes. We all do. As long as you are staying within your means, you'll recover from these mistakes. Well, I hope you've enjoyed and found this episode helpful. Feel free to inject your tips in the comments below. And I'll leave links up here to additional educational videos on watch collection. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next episode.